What's going on, guys? Now, in this one, I want to talk about a couple of days back. I was, of course, hunting for DC Multiverse at Target, walking the aisles. Now, while they didn't have anything new for McFarlane's DC Multiverse, I did come across the new Marvel Legends Spider-Man Unlimited. Now, as you guys know, I do not collect Marvel Legends. In fact, the only two Marvel Legends that I bought recently was the Luke Cage that had very limited articulation, basically was a big letdown of a figure. And also the Angel, which I pretty much only bought for the wings so that I could do a custom, and pretty much was a piece of crap as well. Now, I was looking forward to purchasing that Spider-Man Unlimited from Marvel Legends. And once I had the package in my hand and I was looking at it, I hadn't looked into it that much before. I'm saying like images of it that were coming out. I just knew that it was something that was going to be released. And I can't tell, if it's a reused body. I know it does have some new sculpt work, which you could see they added on to the chest and to the arms and the legs, I would guess. But it is very reminiscent of all the bugs that Marvel Legends has used throughout the years. Mostly being because it still looks like a crappy old base body. Now, the first thing I did notice right off the bat was that it does look a little bit bulky to be Spider Man Unlimited. I remember him from the cartoon being pretty lanky and thin, and this body just looks squat and really wide. So that was the first thing that kind of turned me off. Now, as I said, I really was looking forward to maybe picking this up in store, but just by looking at the design and the body shape, I just was not, sold on it. It just doesn't do it for me, and that's, that's just the bottom line. I'm not a big Marvel Legends fan. So for me to go ahead and jump in and purchase, even though it's a version of Spider-Man that I'm really into, just by looking at it in package, I wasn't really that enthused. This is not to crap on Marvel Legends because everybody knows Marvel Legends has its problems, DC Multiverse has its problems, and in the end, it's just up to you to decide what you prefer. But it was interesting how a lot of things kind of came back to me, all the crap that Marvel Legends fans talk, and how really it seems that they're kind of delusional. But I mean, let's look at it. When I first look at it, and now I did go back and look at some images online. The first thing I see are those ugly thigh cuts. I mean, they just stand out so much to me. They're just a big cut right at the thigh that is ugly. Now, I know I get it about the articulation, but if you have a hip swivel underneath the pelvic region, you do not need that thigh cut because nobody needs to twist their leg in that inhuman range of motion. So, just not a fan of those thigh cuts. Another thing I saw right off the bat as well was they're still using that old, outdated waist cut. Now, I've shown this before. If you collect DC Multiverse, you know that you can go side to side. You have a lot of tilt-a-whirl at the waist, which allows you to get the figures in some cool action poses. And with that cut that Marvel Legends still continues to use, even though they're way outdated. You just cannot twist the waist in any form. You don't get any side to side. It just doesn't give you that much range of motion, besides the fact that it does look very unappealing. Another thing is that old kitchen stove chest cut that they use. Now, I know this gives you more ab crunch. That's why Marvel Legends has always used this. But to me, it just does not look good, especially if you could see light through the chest. That's something that really turns me off. And like I said, this is everybody's preference. I'm just not a big fan of that chest cut that they do. And finally, looking at the crotch in particular, you have those big gaps in between the thighs and the crotch, and it just looks ugly. Like, I like how a superhero looks when they have their trunks and it makes a clean aesthetic look and you don't have that big gap in between the points that just really make it look ugly to me. I'm just not a fan of it and I never will be. And as we know, when DC Multiverse uses the trunks and it works very well. Now, I know sometimes it could look a little bit baggy or clumpy, but for me, it looks 100 times better than those big gaps that Marvel Legends uses. And then another thing I noticed was that for all the crap that McFarlane gets about paint details and paint apps, oh, he didn't paint this on the belt, he didn't get this right. I was very surprised to see that the head sculpt on this Spider-Man Unlimited does not look anything like it does in the animation. I mean, I don't know if they just didn't want to take the time to make it look closer to the animation, or if they're saying that in all actuality, it's just that color, it doesn't have any shading. But it's pretty funny to see how people are already repainting it online and showing you what it should look like, what would make people purchase it more if it was more accurate to the Spider Man Unlimited cartoon, which makes me laugh because people say, oh, McFarlane sucks. You have to paint it to make it look right. And that's exactly what people are doing with this Spider Man Unlimited, as well as talking about how McFarlane's figures look weird or they have weird cuts. Look at all of the ugly cuts that Marvel Legends has. Another thing that kind of put me off was this was I think $25 retail. So add tax, you're looking at around 28, basically rounded off to $30 for this figure. I mean, it only has two alternate pairs of hands, no other accessories, limited paint. For me, the value is just not there, especially with a really stumpy, shorter than 6-inch figure. It's just not going to do it for me. And that's another thing that people always like to say, oh, at least Marvel Legends gives you accessories and alternate heads. No alternate head to speak of, just the hands, no effects, nothing, nada. So I don't see why people have to run their mouth about things that both companies do. So I don't talk a lot of crap about Marvel Legends. I mean, they're just uh, let's cut to the chase. They're just nothing to me because I don't collect them. I don't look for them. I just happen to come across Spider-Man Unlimited figure that I was curious of, but in the end, when I saw it in hand, just not gonna pull the trigger. So, if anything, I'll wait for this to go down in price. Maybe one day I'll pick it up, but I would really prefer it to be on a thinner body, a more lankier body, which this just doesn't scream Spider-Man Unlimited to me. Anyways, let me know what you guys think down below. Catch you guys on the next one.